everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Robbie Krieger, the Flip Flop Flipper. I'm a value-add real estate investor, guys. In this video, I'm going to give you 7 things that are going to help you structure your deal like a pro. What is deal structure before we even get into the 7 things? Deal structure is what you're going to set up as you're going into a real estate investor. So it could be that you set up an LLC with a business partner and you're going to use the LLC to own a one-off property. Maybe it's going to be for a fix and flip or for a buy and hold. It doesn't really matter. You're going to want to identify ahead of time what your structure is. Who's going to do the work? Who's going to put up the money? Who's going to do what to get paid what? That's what deal structure is all about. Hey guys, it's your friendly neighborhood real estate investor here, Robbie Krieger, the Flip Flop Flipper. I've been doing real estate investing for over 25 years. We've done thousands of deals and hundreds of millions of dollars worth of real estate investing. But the thing that I most like about real estate investing is actually the buy and hold method. So owning rental properties. On the school platform, we're going to be teaching a masterclass on how you can become a real estate investor and own rental properties that are going to increase your cash flow, help you get out of the rat race, and build wealth. And it gets better than that, guys, because at the end of my little speech, I'll talk for 25, 30, 45 minutes. Then we're going to open it up for questions, and you can talk to me direct face-to-face via Zoom. I'll answer your questions in real time. Guys, it doesn't get any better than this. By the end of this masterclass, you're going to have action steps that you can take to make yourself a real estate investor, to get in the game, and to get out of the dreaded rat race, to quit that 9 to 5. It's our heart's desire, guys, to see you become a real estate investor. In fact, we'd even love to partner with many of you. So if that sounds good, find the link in the description. Now, watch this clip. We'll talk again after. So the first thing we're going to talk about, number 1, equity investment. So what is equity? Equity means that that's cash that goes into the deal. So that could be any money that's above a loan, which we'll get to this, and you'll see that these things sort of stack up on each other as they often do. But number 1 is about equity. So we like to be cash buyers. And what we've done in the past that's a really good, easy system is that the money gets 50% of the deal, and the person who finds it and fixes it and gets it sold or gets it rented, they also get 50%. So it's a true 50-50 split. If there's $1 made, the guy who put up all the money makes 50 cents, and the guy who found the deal of a lifetime makes 50 cents. We've had a lot of success with this kind of structure. So number 2, this is debt financing. So that's that portion of the deal that's actually debt. Debt financing could be hard money, could be bank loans, could be seller financing, it could be sub 2. It doesn't really matter. It's that money that comes in from an outside third party, a bank, whoever it could be, and then the equity is stuck on top of it. So debt is exactly that. It's debt. It's what you owe to a third party. It's what you owe to a bank or a seller or a hard money lender. When you're thinking about your deal structure, you need to know going in, how much of the purchase price are you going to borrow? Are you going to be able to borrow all of the purchase price through a hard money lender, and then you only need to bring in an equity partner for the renovation and the closing costs? Or are you going to only be able to borrow 70% of the purchase price, and you're going to need 30% in equity, plus closing costs, plus all of the renovations, plus monthly interest? So you guys will figure this kind of stuff out as you're going into your deal, and you want to negotiate this stuff ahead of time. The more that you can talk about how the deal is going to go, the better off you're going to be with your business partners. This is true on any of these scenarios and any structure. Once you've come up with a structure too, this is a side note and a little bonus extra here because it's not one of my 7, I don't think. But once you've struck a deal and you go into a flip or you go into a renovation for a value add real estate investment to hold as a long-term investment, you want to stick to your deal. So be very specific about what your deal is, get it set it in stone if you can. Don't renegotiate on the fly. Partnerships that are constantly renegotiating, they never last. It's a bad system, guys. I've been there, I've done that. I'm telling you from experience. So the third thing I want to talk to you about is a different kind of structure, and it's profit sharing. So we're going to talk about number 3 will be profit sharing. And profit sharing is exactly that. So at the end of the day, you've had some debt. Maybe you had an equity partner and they come in and they all get paid back. Who's going to get what profits? You can negotiate this. And it doesn't have to be the 50-50 split that we've used so often, that we like to use. It's a really good system. But you don't have to be like us. You can do this differently. If you have a good enough deal, you can negotiate that you get a bigger percentage of the profit. Or you could do something like give a preferred return to your equity partner. So you have a hard money lender who's going to get paid his interest rate, and then you have an equity partner that you're going to pay a preferred return to and a portion of the profits, and then you're going to get what's left over. So why would you do that? Why would you try to use profit sharing versus just doing the 50-50 split? Well, you might be really good at it, have a proven track record of success, and so people want to do business with you, and you can get a better deal than 50-50. These are the kind of things things that you can think about. And again, when you set up a deal structure, I strongly encourage you to stay with it throughout your whole entire deal. So from the start to the finish, don't be renegotiating. Negotiate everything all up front before you make the purchase, and then stick to it. If you want to make a change on the next partnership. Number 4 is exit strategy. Guys, these are things that you need to be thinking about before you purchase the property. So everything I've talked about up to this point, it's the same. You want to know what you're doing going in. So I've said several times you can be doing it for a buy, fix, and flip. You can be doing it for a rental. You might have a half a dozen things that you want to buy something for, and how are you going to exit it? Know your exit before you go in, right? Your exit could always be a sale. If you're going to buy it, fix it, and sell it, obviously your exit is going to be the sale, and you're going to pay everybody back their money, and you're going to split profits. If you're going to keep a rental property, I think a proper exit strategy would be, we're going to keep it as a rental property for a certain amount of time. Let's say we're going to keep it 3 to 5 years, and then we're going to reevaluate whether we want to keep it for another 3 to 5 years, but eventually we're going to sell it. Or you could have an exit strategy where you're going to go to the bank and get rid of the hard money loan and come into a new mortgage loan at the lower interest rate, assuming interest rates are lower, and refinance everybody out. So you pull out all of the cash, and at that point you could do a buyout of your partner, or you could all stay in the deal together. Again, you'll determine this stuff before you get into the deal. You don't have to be stuck on one exit strategy either. You could be buying something with the intention to do it as a flip, and then if the market shifts a little bit, you guys will have talked about this ahead of time, and you'll have a way to pivot. Pivoting is really important. As real estate investors, you want to be able to roll with the punches. And so if you bought something that you're going to fix up and sell, and the market changes on you, but you can still cash flow really nice by turning it into a rental and ride out the storm. This is something that I wish that I had done when the market crashed on me in 2008, but I wasn't quite smart enough to figure this out. If I could go back in time, I would have pivoted. I would have turned everything that we had bought as a flip and turned it into a rental property, and I'd have called my partners up and I would have said, guys, this is what we need to do in order to ride this storm out. And had we done it, instead of losing millions of dollars, we would have eventually made millions of dollars, and we would have had cash flow along the way. So you can have multiple exit strategies. Don't get fixated on one. Just try and negotiate everything ahead of time. Number 5, another type of deal structure that you could do would involve possible management fees. So if you're just starting out, let's say, and you don't have a proven track record, and you're unable to find that guy who's going to put up all of the money for you and take only 50% of the deal, you might structure it in a way that you give him an 80% of the upside, and you're only taking 20% of the profits, but you're going to make management fees along the way. You're going to get an acquisition fee. You're going to get a management fee for doing the renovation, and you're going to get a fee on the exit as well when you sell it. I don't love these management fee deals, especially on one-off or small deals. So if you're just doing a buy, fix, and sell, I don't recommend this strategy at all. I think if you're going to do this, it oftentimes looks more like a syndication or even a kind of small fund or even a big fund. You will often see these kind of structures with management fees. I don't love them. I like to give a ton of value and make sure everybody makes some money, and lose if everybody loses together, and win if everybody wins, you win together, and it's an even split. But if you're going to do these management fees and these different structures with the splits, then you get into a much more difficult and tricky negotiation, but still super important that you negotiate everything ahead of time. So if you were going to raise money for a fund and use a management fee and an 80-20 split, for instance, you would have an offering doc, and you would tell people as you were going out to raise money exactly what it is that you were going to do for them to invest into your project. Number 6 is a performance fee. So if you're going to go with the system where you're doing a management fee and you're raising and you're giving a pref or an 80-20 split, you might have to build in a performance fee so that if you do really well as the operator, as the GP, then your LP, once they've made a certain amount, will give you a bigger portion of the pie the better you do. So what does that look like? That looks like, we're going to do an 80-20 split on the profit of up to the first $20,000. And then it's going to turn into a 75-25 split on the next $10,000. And then it'll turn into a 50-50 split, above $30,000 in profit. Again, these kind of things that you're talking about when you're getting management fees and when you're getting performance fees, oftentimes they're more associated with syndications, larger deals, and actually setting up funds. Number 7, risk management. It's very important that you know going in where your risk tolerances are, and make sure that your risk tolerance lines up with your business partner's risk tolerance. You're going to want to know things like, how much are we going to keep in reserves? Are we going to insure the property? Are we going to over-insure the property? If we've got multiple properties together, are we going to buy things like blanket policies? So a lot of it has to do with insurance and how you're going to protect yourself if something bad happens, right? Everybody's got their own different tolerance levels. So for me, I've generally let the person who's putting up the money most of the time make the decisions on things like, even like on simple property insurance. We do 100 flips a year, or we averaged buying 2 houses a week for almost 20 years straight. And we decided that we were going to self-insure. We figured that over a big enough portfolio in the year, we couldn't have very many things that would go wrong. We would need to call the insurance company and say that we needed to do a claim. So it was way cheaper for us, and we saved a lot of money. We've saved millions of dollars by taking the risk of self-insurance. Back in the day when I was borrowing a bunch of money from people, we always had homeowners insurance. We always had a builder's risk plan. And why? That's because the person who was putting up the money, they demanded it. When we started to pay cash for things, and when my partners were bringing cash to the table, I would talk to them about risk management, and we would discuss it, and we would say, listen, we're buying this house. It's pretty cheap. It's got some land value. Until we've got it fixed up, we don't have a big risk. We don't have a lot that we can lose. And if we lose, we're going to lose it together. So we chose to self-insure. I'm not saying that you should be like me. I'm telling you that you should talk to your business partners, and you guys should decide together. So guys, listen, this was a very high-level deal structure video. I gave you 7 things to think about as setting up your real estate investing career and you're getting going as a real estate investor. If you use these things as a jumping off point, there's a lot to learn. Real estate investing should be fun. And remember this, take everything that I say, set up your structure. You guys can do this together and then take it to a lawyer and have them write it all up. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to be too concerned about all of this stuff. Just think about it, talk about it, decide what your structure is going to be, and then you can paper this stuff up as you get closer to a closing. So you don't need to know all of this stuff before you start making an offer on a piece of property. You just need to be very sure about what your deal is going to look like before you actually start spending a whole bunch of money. I hope that makes sense. I hope you guys are liking this kind of content. The other thing that I'd like to say is we're going to deep dive into the subject. So this was high level. We're going to have a masterclass over on the School platform, and you can join us through the Apex Real Estate group on School. I'll put the link in the description. We'd love to have you come and check out the masterclass. We do a masterclass on Apex every single week. We've got courses coming in there at least once a month. So guys, there's just a ton of access to myself and the team inside of Apex, and it's a $50 a month commitment from you guys. It's really a great investment. We'd love to see you join our community. Again, the link to that will be in the description of this video. Give us a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and check out all of our other content, guys. God bless.